Hey y'all. Oh wow, it just turned exactly 8:30. I wanted to stay with my commitment with sharing my story today on the Instalive. Thank you for anyone who's gonna join in or watch later. But I figured to just go ahead and start recording and start sharing. Oh hi, Auntie Connie. Hi everyone. Thanks for joining in. Hey. And yeah, while I share, I don't mind, answering any questions and yeah. Um, I don't even know where to start. Today is World Kidney Disease Day, so it's all about raising awareness of, what I've been fighting for almost 14 years, what many are fighting in our country. And through Instagram, I've connected with many that are on dialysis, that are international, and just knowing how, how did you prepare for fistula for HD? Okay, I'll answer your question in just a minute. Is it the initial one? I've had 2 fistulas on this side, and it got tied off when I changed to PD because it was creating pressures at the time. And I believe this is what's creating pressures again on this. Thanks for joining in. I just wanted to kind of like wing it, and I'm just kind of stopped doing what I was doing. Been Huluing and Netflixing all week long. Oh, hi, from Virginia. Joy. Very cool. But yeah, to answer a question about my fistula, how do I prepare for it? Is it preparing to get it or preparing for dialysis? I'm sorry. Yep, Netflix and chill. I'm sorry, I'm just reading the comments. But yeah, all week I haven't been really feeling so well. It just, when I have activity, it takes quite a bit, to recover from. That's where I'm at now because of my condition. So I'm learning, preparing to start HD. So cancer, I started dialysis at the age of 25, and it's all started in about the same time 14 years ago, 2005. Sorry, my hubby's in the background, he's cooking. And I think he's cracking ice for me. As you know, dialysis patients love ice, and we buy Sonic ice, and when we put it in our freezer, it just kind of clumps up, but it's still yummy. Again. Okay, team. Oh, thank you for your prayers, Joy. But yeah, as far as preparing for hemodialysis, I started at the age of 25. And I was more stronger and less fearless because I didn't, like now I put lidocaine on there. Oh, you want to say hi, hubby? Get a little sneak peek of Daniel. As I was saying, to prepare for dialysis, it was really a scary thing. I was not, this all started with my second pregnancy in 2001, is when I found out I had kidney disease, the pregnancy of my second son, and it was a high-risk pregnancy. They decided to look at my kidneys because I was having the same symptoms as my first pregnancy, which, it was just preeclampsia. That's all they treated. I was young, 18, so it was like, typical for young people to get preeclampsia, I guess. So they never checked my kidneys back then. But looking back, I could say I probably had kidney disease all my life. I've been very sick. 2001, I had my son 2 months early because the condition of my pregnancy became toxic for him. Thankfully, he was my miracle son, and now he's graduating high school this year. It's just so crazy how long we've shared this journey, and it has not been easy. And it's not getting any easier. And I've already, as if you've been following along and seeing my Instagram, how many close calls I've had. And I know that every single day I've been here, it's all about just continuing to speak life and just getting to the point of just, no, I'm gonna stick it out and fight as long as I can fight. I do this for my family. I do this because I have so much love around me, and I feel like that's what has helped me. 2001. So we go back to life as normal. I get checked, nephrologist, I have a specialist, diet's already in place, all those good things. And life went on. And never would I have thought that my kidneys would fail, just 4 years shortly after my son was born in 2001. So 2005, February, well, actually, was it February? Yeah, like uncle got married, well, it was around February 2005 is when my kidneys failed. It was really surreal at that time. I was young, but like I said, I was much stronger and more tolerated. I didn't have to use lidocaine, nothing. 15 gauge, everything. But that fistula started getting aneurysms. It's very typical. I've already had a lot of work on this one because it's starting to create pressures as well. And now I'm dealing with pulmonary hypertension, so it's just an issue. And so to keep on going with where my story is in 2005, just dealing with it in my 20s and having young children. And I still try to keep up with life. I still kept working as long as I could, but I just realized it took so much from my family, it took so much from my kids, and I only had so much energy. And back then I didn't know nothing about energy conservation. I still wanted to keep going and going. So I was talking about my kidney story, and we're now at when I started dialysis, and somebody asked me how I prepared. And mentally, it's really hard to prepare for that. The way I found out the news, it was just very sudden. I was just going about life, working, but I started noticing that I was getting weaker and I was kind of getting symptomatic. And one day my back just was like thrown out. And so one of my coworkers was like, you should go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. I made an appointment. They pretty much said it could be this condition, not kidney failure, so I went home. So the way I found out was through a phone call, actually a voice message. It was on my answering machine at the time, and just telling me, you need to go to ER, your kidneys are failing, your kidneys has failed. So it happened that way. It happened suddenly, and that's what kidney disease, it's a silent killer, and you won't know until it's really bad, unless they're really checking for it. So even for my kids, I've requested tests just to make sure it's not genetics, because we don't know. Oh, joy. Yeah, see? It's just kind of it. And that's the thing, and that's why it's so important to raise awareness, because if I was more aware, then of course maybe things could have been different. But I was very blessed to have my two sons. healthy, even with the complications with the pregnancies, the preeclampsia, the toxic environment from kidney disease. They're now grown 18 and 21. So going through the years, I was able to be stay-at-home mom. I took a couple jobs here and there, but it was always like, temporary, or but I try to keep active. That was the main thing. And I was pretty strong, like I said, when I first started. Now, almost a decade and a half later, I now have heart issues. I now have lung issues. I'm now taken off the list, and it's really hard. And so I've been fundraising to be able to have the ability to go outside of the Kaiser system, which is hard because I do like my nephrologist, and actually probably could still be. He had the transplant for about 3 years until it started to fail. They tried to do IVIG, and it kind of saved it for a little bit. But eventually the valley fever came back. I had many relapses, and this is why the valley fever went first from my lungs to my spine. I have now titanium in my back.
What's your clavicle?
My clavicle.
Clavicle.
It went in my shoulder. It went in my hip. It's been in my shoulder several times. It's resurfaced. So in 2012, I was in the hospital for probably half a year fighting. It was like back-to-back surgeries. So I had many surgeries. Oh, no, so I have a question about home hemo, and if I'm doing it by myself, my hubby's doing it for me, helps me. I used to be able to self-cannulate, and I can't even self-cannulate. I started getting a lot of anxiety, and I think it's just all these episodes, and like right now, I'm waking up in these breathing where I can't breathe, and one of my side effects from the infection and medicine is night terrors. So, I don't really say it's like a nightmare, but I wake up and I'm gasping for air. I check my blood pressure. My heart rate gets high. They can't even really explain what it is, but you do deal. I'm fully aware that I could be dealing with some PTSD from these like close calls, and I'm just like trying to walk through it the best I can. But I think it really is hard for me to sleep. I see some family online. Hi, Vanessa. She's all the way from Connecticut. And so I'm just, for people that's just joining in, I've been sharing my kidney story for World Kidney Day. It's also Kidney Awareness Month. So I want to do more, but all week I was under the weather. Today was the first day I was actually feeling much better and being able to eat a little more. But yeah, so going back to the infections and the surgeries, it's now been, I'm going on a good 3 years since the last reoccurrence, thank God. And it's definitely, some of these things, very traumatic to live without kidneys. It is. It's really hard. And especially when I was dealing with it in my 20s, I just, like I said, I think I just kind of like kept moving forward. But after going through the rejection and going through the infection and all the surgeries and almost dying from that too, they didn't know if I was going to make it. I was 78 pounds fighting for life, and they were constantly pumping me with the amphotericin B, what they call it, amphoterrible. It's like chemo, because you lose your hair, you get sick. It's just an awful medicine. but that's the only effective treatment they have right now. Unfortunately, because valley fever there's not enough awareness. Um, yeah, we have 9 lives. I've had so many close calls, especially just this past 2 years. I mean, to have a hospice call was hard, and my boys were there. I mean, when they came and talked, and they just didn't want to hear that, And I was like, no. I mean, I've gone this far. I still envision myself rehabbing. I mean, I used to feel like I was the comeback queen because I would literally bounce back pretty quickly from my episodes. I have a question here. How did that infection happen, the valley fever? It was my first trip traveling post-transplant. Got the doctor's clearance and everything. We just went to LA. That's a route on Highway 5. You guys might not know it for those who are not from California. But it's that stretch where, even here, I still live in the Central Valley. I still live in Sacramento, but there's not as many cases, but it could travel over here very easily. But I take medications. I'm going to take medications for it for all my life. It was because I was immunosuppressed for sure. And for some reason, this infection, you're more, it's like a thick, actually knowing now, they say more Filipinos, African Americans, and Hispanics are more acceptable, I believe, to valley fever. But on my groups, it's everybody, it's every nationality. It does not discriminate. And many people are affected, and many people have died. I've even known one of my brother-in-law's ex-girlfriend's cousin. He passed away and he was very young. Hi there. Thanks for joining in. I see somebody local. But yeah, I'm just talking about the kidney story, and I'm now talked about when I started in 2005, when I got my transplant in 2010, when I got an infection that almost killed me and resulted in losing my transplant in 2013, getting back on dialysis, and what it takes me where I am now. And it's just crazy, like, how far I came in this journey, and it affects so many people every year, and I just wanted to raise awareness, and because you won't get checked for kidney disease. It's something that's very silent, so it's something you could request to get checked for, and it's just a simple urine test. So now I'm off the transplant list. I started fundraising. Literally, the fundraising has carried us through this past episode, because when I go to the hospital, everything stops. Work stops, everything just stops, and you have to catch up. Okay, another question was, the valley fever airborne? And you were just, yep, I was just in the car. We got a flat tire. We were rushing home because Daniel's grandmother, we got the news that his grandmother wasn't doing well. So we were rushing home and got a flat tire on the side of the road. I just remember, I feel like this is where it happened, because my husband went out, looked at the tire, the windows were open. I'm in the passenger, I'm watching him. So I just feel like it could have happened there really easily. It could happen anywhere. And so now when I go to LA, I mask up. Like when I drive there, I mean, not that it really matters, but we try not to make stops. We turn off our vents. It's very complicating, And like I said, there's not enough awareness for valley fever either. So there's all these, they call silent diseases or invincible diseases, and I'm now a recipient of kidney failure, pulmonary hypertension. I have a leaky heart valve now too. Now I'm starting to stabilize, so I'm just hoping, and I'm on getting lower on my oxygen. I do take breaks when I'm like out and about and going places. I bring my oximeter and check it, and I'm holding steady above 90. So I'm getting better. It's just clearing the fluid, but I do still have a lung drain. Lung drain's right here. That's my new lung drain. I have a pacemaker now from the last ICU trip. That happened on the holidays. All my holidays was gone. Yep, Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley. They call it the San Fernando, that valley fever. So, yeah, it's. You're laughing at me because I can pronounce stuff. Fernando Valley. But yeah, it's there too, for sure. And like I said, there's been more cases, so I hate for it to have more cases before, things are done. I mean, there's a cure already, they say, but there's not enough funding. So I'm hanging on, and the longer I hang on, there's more things happening, like the artificial kidney. Hopefully that will happen. I mean, they said continue to say it's going to happen. It was supposed to do human trials this year, but I think they have a lot of roadblocks because it would really probably put dialysis, a lot of dialysis clinics out of business, unfortunately. So I think that's the reason why it's not going through smoothly. But I hope in this lifetime maybe that would be an option, since transplant right now is not an option. I can't withstand a surgery right now where my pulmonary pressures are. So I'm at the point where I'm okay. I'm okay with it, where it's not easy to do dialysis and live on a machine, and we do it at home, but I chose that because it was the most gentle on my heart and lungs. Is going to give me a better outcome. So that's really how I choose my treatment options, is to have a better outcome. And I know when I did PD for many years, that allowed so much. Like, I was able to eat more, and I'm such a foodie. If you guys follow me on Warrior Lifestyle, I mean, I love my food. It gave me a little bit of freedom. But yeah, I'm still pushing on. It's not easy. I just have to take it day by day. And let's see. Me sharing about getting breast cancer from transplant. Yeah, it's like I said, transplant is a treatment and not a cure, but it's the best treatment, they say, out of all, because of the life expectancy that it can give you. They say that dialysis patients could only, max years, I think I want to say it's 5 to 7 years. But now I'm starting to hear people living on dialysis for decades. And if I have to do that, then I'll just do what I have to do, I know that every day is a gift. I'm lucky to be here now, especially since hospice came in. I have bladder care, and yeah, I do pray that I can be another candidate for a transplant again. Hopefully I can overcome a lot of these challenges right now. The pacemaker is helping the heart. The lung drains, there's still a lot of fluid that I'm draining on top of the dialysis, but I've noticed since I've been doing it, I am getting stronger. So hopefully that will also subside. I don't have ascites anymore. For some reason, it traveled up to my lungs now. So now all the fluid is going into my lung, my right lung. But we now have the lung catheter, and we do that at home as well. So it's a full-time job. My husband left a really good career working for the state to caregive for me full-time because my condition just got so hard. I now have mobility issues and obviously the breathing issues, and it's really a full-time job just to take care of me. It's hard. He does everything now. But I'm trying little by little to get back in the kitchen and stuff like that. But just, it's, when I started PT at home, like, I had to restart like 2 times because I went to the hospital. Oh, they said, God bless you and your husband. My husband, Joy. Joy, and wow, 21 years on dialysis. How do you do it? Oh, it's been 14 going on 15. So I'm getting there though. It's definitely getting up there. But I was saying that people have now are living on dialysis longer. And I think it's because of medications, because of technology. And I just feel like the longer I hang on, my miracle will come. You know, hopefully it's the artificial kidney where you don't have to take immunosuppression medications. I mean, I just pray they could get through the loopholes, because dialysis has become an industry, and it's go through things really. My husband is being crazy. Daniel. We try to laugh as much as we can, as you notice some of my videos that I take, especially when we were training. We try to just, sometimes when it gets hard, we just try to laugh about it. There's only, what could we do, you know? But I'm so happy as a family unit that we've been able to just stick together. And I feel like it's made me closer to my children. I've had to have hard conversations with them since they were young. I won't say it was easy, especially for my youngest son. He really struggled a lot, you know, because he was really young when this all started. But we found good outlets. We kept them in, or just pet peeves, I guess. Sorry, we're cooking a late dinner. We're kind of late on things. I'm like on island time all the time. My husband is truly a blessing. Yeah, what would we do without our better halves? And he could have easily left me, you know, with dealing with all this. So he's really been my ride or die, seriously. And till this day, I'm just thankful for him. I won't say we don't get on each other's nerves, because we are with each other 24/7, but you know, that's love. It's a thin line, right, Daniel? So anybody else have any questions before I log off? I don't want to just keep you guys on here too long. If you want, right now, currently, where my health stands, I'm now considered pretty stable and getting stronger with each day. I mean, really, it's just, you know, they say day by day, but I'm taking it minute by minute or second by second. Like, really, it's just walking through it, you know. These companies sharing, just because it's a lot, I don't think they make them like they make them anymore. 19 years, oh, congratulations. Well, we're going on 19 years too. We got married in May 13, 2000. So I, like, right now, my goal, get to my son's graduation. My next goal will be like getting to that 20th anniversary, because we want to renew our vows. So yeah, one day at a time, but I do try to look forward to something. Always look forward to something. And as you know, I try to keep busy, and that's what Warrior Lifestyle is for. That's my creative outlet. I say my creative hustle, because living on life support at home is not cheap. It's a percent discount on your energy bill. I mean, so it's a lot to keep me home, but it's been the best for me. So we make the sacrifice and we do what we have to do: sell shirts or fundraise. It's not easy. It's not easy. I hate asking. I want to give, and as much as I can give. So I'm thankful through Warrior Lifestyle that I'm able to. Wait a minute. Oh, enjoy my dinner. Keep posting. You are loved and prayed for. Very glad you are stronger, and will get even stronger. Thank you, Joy, for that message. Just reading the comments. I know you guys don't see it, so I'm just kind of reading out loud so you can see what I'm seeing. And congratulations, Honeybee, on your marriage too. Looks like you're coming up on that 19 years very soon. But yeah, just thinking about dealing with kidney disease, being young and married, having young children. I mean, I think back and it's just the grace of God that has carried me through. The prayers, sending me positive messages, all that light, all that I really feel like I've been in this protection bubble, especially in those close moments. So I really appreciate being able to have this outlet with you guys. And I know many of you guys have been following along for a while. I appreciate that. Yeah, if there's any more questions, I'd be happy to ask. You can also send me messages after this live stream. But yeah, that's where it's at. I mean, there's not a whole lot of answers yet, and I'm trying to get strong enough just so I can go outside of maybe California. There's potentially, I'm looking at UCLA. They have dealt with some really complicated heart issues. I was able to see Fight to Breathe get rejected and get accepted there. So just because you get off a list on one clinic doesn't mean not another clinic will accept you. It just depends on their specialty. So that's what I need to look for. But the first steps is definitely just like getting through what I was going through. And thank God we were carried throughout that time. I think when I started fundraising, and I will have to keep on fundraising and keep selling shirts to keep this going. So if you guys can, follow me at Warrior Lifestyle too. All the proceeds, the shirt sales, merch. I'm coming out with different merch too. Come join in, Daniel. Yeah. I'm probably going to update my GoFundMe. I haven't really put an update on there yet. I did a Facebook one, but I didn't know it had an expiration date, so I might reactivate that too, because that was really a great way to fundraise. But a lot of us have to, even when we're preparing for transplant. It's scary now, like with what's happening. I don't know how long, like right now we're totally dependent on the system, with Medicare and Medi-Cal. My husband and I have put in our work, so we try to be altruistic and volunteer too, and with our time, because that's really how things keep it going, keep the blessings going, and the covering, because I don't know how we have been able to maintain all these years, but we have been able to maintain and have a roof over our head, food on the table, and that's been the most important things. And that's one thing you'll learn about that. 2010 I got the miraculous transplant, and losing it to a horrible infection that I'm still fighting till this day, because I have to take medications for it for the rest of my life, they say. Hopefully, maybe the cure will come before that happens. Who knows? I just try to stay optimistic, like for all the advancements that are trying to push through. It just needs funding. We just need funding for it. There needs to be funding for the artificial kidney. There needs to be funding for a cure for valley fever. I mean, we're just getting awareness out now, so, and even pulmonary hypertension. There's not even a cure for that. I don't even want to pay attention because I always think about those commercials and all the side effects, but I know a lot of what's happening is the long-term medication use of these medicines that have been toxic. So I have been trying to get more natural as I can, eat more of a plant-based diet. I don't know if you guys see, I've just been exploring, and I actually am very fortunate that I live in the farm to fork capital, and so we have really good produce here, and we have and I do CBD as well. That has helped. Every morning I put my CBD, my elderberry, which is good for the cough. I was having a chronic cough, and testimony, it's worked wonders. Also, I also take sea moss. You can look those things up. I just put it in my morning tea. And it's been helpful. I don't have to take pain medications unless I really, really need to. So that's good because long term, when I had my spinal surgery, I had to take pain medication for a long time, and it's hard your body gets used to it, and you can't even measure pain anymore. So it was horrible trying to get off of that medication. Like you literally have to get off of it very slowly. So now I'm just, turmeric. I take turmeric. I'm really trying to do the anti-inflammatory. It's really hard to give it the cheese, but they have so many great substitutes. So we've been exploring, me and my hubby. My hubby has been vegetarian now for 2 years, and I'm now following. I'm towards the end of sharing Maribel's kidney story and the almost 15 years fighting for my life. Dialysis is life support. Without it, I will not be here. And that's what they were asking me to do on hospice. And I was like, no, not yet. I mean, we have our routine pretty much down, and it's going. Some days are harder than the other, but the flexibility of just doing it at home is awesome. It's been more gentler on my body. I haven't had muscle spasms the last time was when I had my sleepover actually with my sisters and my nieces and nephews. It's a horrible time. But I think we finally got the balance of doing the lung drain and dialysis. Cannot do it on the same day. It's too much. So I think we're finally finding that balance. I can't rush PT. Found that out. We were already getting to walking on the treadmill, and that could have been another reason why I had that the muscle spasm started from literally from half of my spine all the way down. It was horrible. Somebody was saying it's all about mixing Western and Eastern medicine and holistic care. I'm actually hopefully gonna find a holistic doctor as well. I need to get that on board, but that's all out of pocket, so there's just so much fundraising I have to do. But we have I'm really excited. My sisters have sketched up some pretty awesome graphics. I'll probably share a couple of the kidney ones that they did. But I'm gonna have some merch. It'll be more graphics. The first couple things I just wanted to put the brand out there. I think that just seeing the word warrior life is powerful. I try to keep affirmations all over my house. I have positive messages. If you go in there, if just to see my areas, I just try to keep as much positive things, because really you're so sensitive. when you're when you have a chronic illness. And and the word spoony is because we do only have so many spoons each day, and that's what I've learned throughout the years, that balance of energy conservation. And I had occupational therapy come recently, kind of reminding me, if you give this much, you got to rest this much. So that's really where it's at. It's full time. There's no days off. It's constantly that finding that balance and just taking it day by day. But yeah, I think that pretty much sums up my story. It just helps to have a personal connection when you could hear it and see it, and especially if you have a loved one that is dealing with kidney disease or kidney failure, to understand it and to know that it's a silent epidemic. And that's why these awareness months, awareness days are so important. Like even last month was Heart Month, and now I'm a heart warrior too, because this heart is hanging on. They say my heart is still fairly young. They can't do surgery on it because it's on the right valve. I guess they only work on the left valve, or I don't know. I'm learning all that now. So yeah, there's definitely lots to live for sure. And I keep my eye on the prize, and that's life with just seeing my kids grow up. I mean, I just remember my prayers when they were young. Like, let me make it till, at least let me see them grow up. And I've been able to see them grow up. And I'm so thankful for that, and being able to survive so much that has came my way. But as I share my story, like, I'm going to put the ebook soon. You'll see I've been fighting since the day I was born. I was born a blue baby. That's what they say, with low oxygen. And I was heavily medicated. My parents actually had to remove me out of the hospital. So that was the first indication that something was up with my health from the day I was born. As a child, I was very sickly, got car sick really easily. There's all these signs I look back and I'm like, I've been sick for a long time and just didn't know it, And so now I feel like it's important, like, for my kids to get tested and make sure this is not genetic. Because my grandpa had kidney failure, but of course it was more due to old age. And my uncle also had kidney failure, so it is in my family. And he was actually one of the, I'm going to have to share the documentation, but one of the first people to have a transplant was decades ago, but he's unfortunately not with us anymore. But he was able to have a fulfilled life, I will say, having children and all that. And I feel like I've had a fulfilled life. I want more, though. I want to be able to see grandbabies hopefully one day. And well, let's start with marriage maybe first, and then babies. We'll see. I don't know. My kids are not even close to it. So those are the things I look forward to now. It's the little things. Like I said, and still pursuing passions, and still trying to be able to give of myself in the capacity that I can give, and learn how to receive as well. So the fundraising will continue, and I'll probably do maybe an event soon. Next year, I'll be turning 40, so I'm thinking of having an event, because I am in the process of trying to make, I've been in the process of trying to make Warrior Lifestyle a nonprofit, but it does require money, so I'm just being patient. I was able to get a trademark. That was important. Okay, I out-talked the Instalive. I just want to jump in here and at least end something. Thank you again for everyone that joined. Sorry it was a little scattered. I kind of am winging it. I winged the whole thing, so I'm sure there's lots of questions. You can definitely message me, DM me. Thank you all for the prayers and just the support throughout the year. But I'll get back on here again because I just kind of wanted to wing it and get on here. Easier to just like talk than to write these days, but I'm still trying to finish up the writing projects I have. I have plenty of time, but it's just all this. I always have things that interrupt it, so just keeping at it, really. Anyhow, thank you again for joining in, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.